Imagine walking into an international airport terminal. You look up, and there's this continuous,
Like
flawless,
100-foot wide video wall.
exactly, just displaying thousands of moving flights. There's no lag, no screen tearing, no blue screen of death.
Which is practically a miracle in the tech world.
Right. So today we are looking at the invisible backbone making that happen. We're doing a custom-tailored deep dive into, well, an absolute behemoth as an AV spec sheet. It's the SmartAVI MXWALL-UHD-64x64-S.
Quite the mouthful.
It really is. But the mission here is to figure out what a piece of TV hardware costing $41,999.30 actually does behind the scenes of our modern visual world.
Nearly 42 grand for a single box.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this because the sheer physical scale of this device is just staggering. We are talking about a 97-pound metal box.
And it's 28 inches deep. It is massive.
And it features 64 HDMI inputs and 64 outputs. To make that relatable, it's basically a traffic cop who never sleeps, flawlessly directing 64 different 4K movies to 64 different theaters simultaneously without a single traffic jam.
And it is pushing an incredible 18 gigabits per second of bandwidth. To put that in perspective, that is enough data bandwidth to process an entire high-definition movie every single second on one of its 64 channels. What's fascinating here is the contrast between that intense, heavy-duty hardware and the software used to control it.
Because you'd expect, a system this intimidating to require an IT specialist typing command line codes just to turn it on.
Oh, totally. But instead, it relies on a completely free drag-and-drop Windows interface called MXWALL Manager that anyone can just click around in.
Wait, okay, that's exactly where I'm getting hung up. If the software is that simple, why on earth does a business need to spend nearly $42,000 on the hardware? I mean, I could build a top-tier gaming PC that pushes incredible 4K graphics across multiple monitors for, what, maybe $4 grand?
Sure, easily.
So why can't a regular computer just run these 64 screens with normal software?
Well, it is a fair point, but it comes down to how computers actually process data. When a regular PC runs video, the data has to pass through the operating system, the CPU, and the graphics drivers.
There's a lot of layers it has to get through.
Exactly. Think of a standard PC like a busy post office where a worker has to read every single address label before routing a package.
Right.
When you're managing 64 screens, that takes time, creating a massive bottleneck.
Right. And that bottleneck causes lag, stuttering, all those delays. So a standard PC just buckles under the weight of reading all those digital labels simultaneously.
Yes. This device, on the other hand, is a dedicated plug-and-play hardware appliance. It physically hardwires the input to the output at the circuit level, bypassing an operating system entirely.
Oh, wow.
Instead of a post office, it's like a network of dedicated pneumatic tubes. The moment the video data goes in, it's instantly sucked to the exact right destination without anyone having to read a label. That dedicated silicon pathway means there is zero latency.
And latency is the absolute enemy of a massive video wall, right?
Right.
Because if even one of those 64 screens is a single millisecond behind the screen next to it, your eye immediately catches it.
Yep, it shatters the illusion.
You get that jarring, tearing effect where a massive moving image suddenly looks sliced in half.
Precisely. That's why it requires no drivers whatsoever, and why it features an integrated scaler built right into the hardware. You can take whatever random mismatched resolution you throw at it from any source and instantly, seamlessly convert it up to full UHD.
And that's 3840 by 2160 pixels at a smooth 60 hertz, right?
Yeah. Spot on. Every single screen stays perfectly synced because the hardware handles the translation instantly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have probably benefited from one of these machines without ever realizing it.
Like at that airport we were talking about.
Exactly. When you wander through an airport, a high-end retail space, or an event hall and see a flawless multi-screen visual display, this is the 100-watt heavy lifter hiding behind the curtain making it happen.
And because this hardware bypasses all those usual software glitches, it totally changes the user experience. You don't need an on-site engineer to fix it. In fact, what really stood out in the source material is that despite being a complex industrial-grade investment, HDTVSupply has a 4.7 out of 5 customer rating for it.
Which is pretty rare for industrial tech.
Yeah. You have everyday buyers like Bruna C. leaving reviews specifically praising how easy the phone support was.
It really proves the ultimate takeaway from the sources. The most powerful, heavy-duty technology often strives to be the most invisible and user-friendly. all the immense complexity is trapped inside the box, leaving the user with nothing but seamless control.
Which brings up an interesting question for you to mull over. If it currently takes a 97-pound, $42,000 machine to manage 64 screens seamlessly today,
A literal metal giant.
so wait, what happens in the near future? When our personal environments, like advanced smart homes or fully immersive VR spaces, start demanding this exact level of instantaneous, massive, multi-screen processing.
Will we all eventually need our own flawless, invisible pneumatic tube system hidden in the walls of our living rooms?
It's definitely something to think about the next time you walk past a giant video wall.